So it's Monday, the 5th of August 2024, and I thought I'd pop you a little filmette to show you how much prep that goes on before you see the actual mosaic making. See, yesterday, which was Sunday, obviously, I spent, oh God, I don't know how many hours. It was more than a day. It was about 7 o'clock when I finished. So I think it was like 8-9 hours on making these. So these are my Marmox boards with Metals for You UK. These are the frames that I've put in and glued it in with FlexiFix. So I've made metal frames around the Marmox because these are going to be external and they need to be protected around the edges, because as you know with Marmox it's a backerboard, so it's got, let's see if I can give you a better, so it's a light foam backerboard with adhesive science to it, you know. So it's external on both sides, but I should think if I had put fiberglass mesh tape like this, and then put some tile adhesive around it, and then put some tiles around it, that'll be fine. But in terms of quickness and durability, I think a frame edge would be neat and professional looking, in fact. So the next point to do is to make sure I've got all of these edges completely in place. Best to measure using the actual board rather than measuring with a tape. So the next port of call is to put these absolutely in place so that there's that 45-degree angle is touching, and then measure it out. So I've measured out where the board ends here. I've used a right angle set square, or whatever it's called these days, I can't remember. And once I've cut it up, I use a rasp to sand it down so it's got a smooth finish. I've got an old bit of aluminium edge so that I can measure out if I need to. Say if I needed to measure out at an angle that I needed in place, then I would do that, you know. And the equipment I'm using is just a handsaw, a mitre handsaw, using a metal blade, obviously, on a friend's Black & Decker workmate. And the width of this is narrow, so I had to put a piece of, I don't know if you can see this, a piece of wood. No, you can't. Can you? Yes, a piece of wood. There it is, look. I drilled that underneath my base, my mitre base. Typical. But I've also got some clamps as well, so that when I put the pieces of metal in, it's sturdy. And of course I'll be using my safety gloves as well, because you've got particles of metal, etc. So it takes me a long time to do this, because I want to make sure belt and braces, it's absolutely fine. But I'm just gonna, once I get into this bit, I'll show you how I frame it. The last mosaic I did, the Cosley mosaic, I literally cut these pieces up and then glued them down side by edge to edge, and then used a framing clamp. But I've figured out there is a quicker way to do it, and I'll show you that in a second once I've cut up the last bit of metal. Actually, I just thought I'd show you how I do this. So I've got 2 clamps here that hold the metal together against the mitre saw, and then I'm just making sure that everything is absolutely straight. And it's always good to do a line, a drawing line that shows which angle you're supposed to be cutting, because believe me, over the years I have forgotten sometimes. So yeah, so that's the next stage, to cut it off. To cut downwards is a lot easier than actually cutting across. It just takes a lot longer, and I think it's probably because it's the width of it rather than that you've got only a small couple of mils to cut down. That's always the fun bit, but it's that bit is the pain. Anyway, just carrying on. So I've cut it up, obviously, and now it's time to show you what I do next. I'm using a Stanley framing clamp. I've had these over, oh gosh, since the 90s, so they're like 30 years old, and they still work. And I bought new cord so that I could frame and make mounts, canvas mounts for my paintings back in the day. So I've made sure that these are firmly in place, and the next thing I do is pop the board in to make sure it absolutely fits in. Now, I did have this on a tripod, so I'm just going to put it back on the tripod. Okay, you can tell I'm old school with all this lacking of technology, but this is good enough for me. I'm doing this really for myself so that I remember how I did it in the first place. So I've just slipped the board in, so I've made sure that it's absolutely in place so that I can check it. And I'll take the board out now, and then I'll glue it into place. Let me show you. So I've used the Rumar Flexi Fix and applied glue on the base as well as the side. It does look messy, but trust me, it will fix in. Let me just pull it back there. There you go. Now, that's all contacted. The board's contacted with the frame, like so. But what I do now is I put a bead edge of glue all the way around, just like you would silicone sealant in your bathrooms. And then use your finger to do the edge, like so, you know. So I'll do that again. Now, especially when you've got broken edges like this, I mean, you know, the tiles will be in the way as well over that anyway, but I just like to be a little bit belt and braces. I hope you can see this. It's a right pain using a tripod sometimes. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do next, and you can see here. And I'll just be doing that all the way round all the edges. So I think I'll show you the last bit in a minute. Okay, gang, this is the final bit. I just wanted to show you the finish of all the inside bits. Clearly people won't be able to see it, but for my peace of mind, to actually have an external caulking adhesive to seal the edges so that no water can penetrate through is a good thing for me. The plan is I will drill some holes and put some fixings in so that it's a wooden building that we're installing these mosaics on, so they'll be drilled on to those walls. So that's the prep so far. I'm now going to apply and trace the drawings onto these boards. Obviously not that one because that's still going to dry. That should be dry actually in an hour's time, but by the time I finish all the other 5 drawings, that should be ready for the final drawing. So yeah, Caroline Jerrywaller, Mango Mosaics, over and out. I hope that was very, very useful for you. Okay then, see you soon. Bye.